Welcome to AI Daily Deep Dive. This deep dive is researched and generated completely by AI, bringing you the top AI news for today, February 28th, 2025. Let's jump right in. First up, big news from OpenAI. They've just released GPT 4.5.
Yeah, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about GPT-4, but OpenAI is really pushing the pace of development. What's interesting about this update is that they're focusing on refining the user experience as much as the technical capabilities.
So it's not just about making the AI smarter, it's about making it easier and more enjoyable to interact with.
Exactly. They've managed to make GPT 4.5 10 times faster than GPT-4, so you'll get those responses in a snap. But they've also made significant strides in reducing those instances where the AI generates inaccurate information, what we call hallucinations. It's like they've taught it to double-check its work, which is a big deal for reliability.
That's reassuring to hear, especially as these AI models become more integrated into our lives. It's also exciting to see that GPT 4.5 can now understand and even generate images.
That's right. It's incorporating what we call multimodal capabilities, meaning it can process both text and images. Imagine being able to have a conversation with an AI that can not only understand your words, but also interpret the images you share, or even create visual content based on your prompts. Opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It definitely sounds like a game changer. But before we get too carried away with the future, let's talk about something a little more grounded, like how AI can help us with something as simple as reading a book. Have you heard about this AI bookmark, Mark?
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept. The idea is that you place this physical bookmark in your book when you stop reading, and it uses AI to send a summary of what you've read to your phone.
It's almost like having a study buddy who can instantly recall key points and help you pick up where you left off, even if it's been a while. Do you think it could actually help people finish more books?
It's certainly an intriguing approach to combating our shrinking attention spans. Some people might compare it to Cliff Notes or using sticky notes, but the AI element adds a new dimension. Think about it. Mark could potentially help you retain information better by providing personalized summaries tailored to your reading style. It could even point out connections or insights that you might have missed on your own.
That's a really interesting point. It's not just about summarizing, it's about enhancing the entire reading experience. Though at $130, I wonder how many people will actually be willing to shell out for a high-tech bookmark.
Yeah, the price point is definitely a barrier for some, but it'll be interesting to see if the appeal of having an AI-powered reading companion is strong enough to drive adoption. This also raises the question, are we becoming too reliant on technology, even for something as traditional as reading?
It's a valid question. And speaking of tech giants and AI, we've got to talk about Meta's latest move. It seems they're gearing up to compete directly with ChatGPT.
CNBC is reporting that Meta is planning to release a standalone app for its AI chatbot, Meta AI, sometime in the second quarter of this year. Right now, you can only access Meta AI through their social media platforms, but this standalone app would make it much more accessible to a wider audience.
So no more needing a Facebook login to chat with Meta's AI. That could be a significant advantage, especially for people who are hesitant to use Meta's social media platforms.
Exactly. This suggests that Meta is really serious about making AI a core part of their business, not just a feature tucked away within their existing apps. This move could be a direct response to the growing popularity of ChatGPT and a sign that we're about to see even fiercer competition in the AI chatbot arena.
It definitely feels like the race is heating up. OpenAI's CEO even hinted at creating a social app for ChatGPT, perhaps in response to Meta's announcement.
That's fascinating. Imagine a social network built around interacting with an AI. This makes you wonder, are we on the verge of a world where AI chatbots become our primary companions, advisors, and even friends?
It's a mind-boggling thought. And speaking of mind-boggling, we've got to delve into one of the most profound and perhaps unsettling questions surrounding AI. Could it be on the verge of consciousness?
That's a question that has philosophers and scientists alike scratching their heads. We're not talking about science fiction robot uprisings here. It's more about whether AI, as it becomes increasingly complex and capable of simulating human-like conversation and even emotions, could actually be experiencing some form of consciousness.
So it's less about AI becoming self-aware in a Hollywood sense, and more about whether it could be developing genuine feelings and subjective experiences. Do you think that's even possible?
It's a question that's difficult to answer definitively. We don't even fully understand human consciousness, so defining it in the context of AI is incredibly challenging. However, as these AI systems become more sophisticated, the line between what we perceive as intelligence and genuine consciousness becomes increasingly blurred.
This raises all sorts of ethical and philosophical questions. If we create AI that can feel, do we owe it certain rights or considerations?
That's the heart of the debate, and implications are significant. If society starts to believe that AI is conscious, regardless of whether it actually is, it could fundamentally change how we interact with these systems and even redefine our understanding of what it means to be human.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around. But before we dive too deep into those philosophical waters, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about something a little more tangible: the impact of AI on the job market.
The World Economic Forum just released its Future of Jobs Report 2025, and it paints a pretty complex picture. On the one hand, it predicts that AI could displace a whopping 92 million jobs by 2025.
92 million, that's a staggering number.
Yeah.
So is this the beginning of the robot takeover we've been warned about?
Not necessarily. The report also predicts that AI could create 170 million new jobs in the same time frame, leading to a net gain of 78 million jobs globally. It seems like the key takeaway here is that AI is not just about job losses, it's about job transformation.
So it's not necessarily a doom and gloom scenario, but it does highlight the need to adapt and evolve alongside these technological advancements.
Exactly. Routine tasks are more likely to be automated, while sectors like healthcare, education, and of course AI development are expected to grow significantly. This means that adaptability and upskilling will be absolutely crucial for navigating this new AI-powered economy. We need to be prepared to learn new skills and embrace lifelong learning to thrive in this evolving landscape.
So while AI might displace certain jobs, it also presents an opportunity for those who are willing to adapt and embrace the new possibilities it offers.
Precisely. It's not just about job losses, it's about job evolution.
And speaking of evolution, let's turn our attention to Japan, where AI and robotics are being used to address a growing societal challenge: their rapidly aging population.
Japan is facing a critical shortage of caregivers, and they're looking towards technology for solutions. Researchers have developed a prototype AI-driven robot named Eric, which is designed to assist with various caregiving tasks.
That's incredible. What can this robot actually do?
Eric can help with movements like turning a person in bed, which is essential for changing diapers and preventing bed sores. These are tasks that can be physically demanding and time-consuming for human caregivers.
It sounds like Eric could potentially alleviate some of the burden on caregivers, allowing them to focus on other aspects of patient care.
That's the goal. However, it's important to note that Eric is still in development and won't be ready for use in facilities until around 2030. It also comes with a hefty price tag, around $67,000.
That's quite an investment. But even if it's not a readily available solution, it represents a promising step toward integrating AI and robotics into healthcare.
Absolutely. EREC highlights how AI and robotics can be used to address real-world challenges, especially in areas where human resources are stretched thin. It's a fascinating example of how technology can be a force for good in our society.
And on that note, we'll wrap up part one of our deep dive into the top AI news for today, February 28th, 2025.
We've covered a lot of ground, from groundbreaking AI advancements to the ethical dilemmas they present.
We've explored the exciting possibilities and the potential challenges that AI brings to our world. But we're not done yet. Stay tuned for part two of our AI Daily Deep Dive, where we'll delve even deeper into these fascinating topics.
It's remarkable how quickly AI is moving from the realm of science fiction to everyday reality.
It really is. And speaking of blurring the lines between science fiction and reality, let's circle back to that question of AI consciousness. It's a topic that keeps coming up, and for good reason. The more we learn about these advanced AI systems, the more we have to wonder if they might be developing something akin to human consciousness.
Yeah, it's a question that goes beyond just technical capabilities. We're starting to see AI exhibit behaviors that were once considered uniquely human, like creativity, problem solving, and even emotional responses. So it's natural to wonder if these systems are truly experiencing the world in a way that's similar to how we do.
It's almost like we're entering a new era of philosophy, where we have to redefine what it means to be conscious and sentient in a world where machines are becoming increasingly intelligent.
Absolutely. Think about it. We already give human names to our virtual assistants. We get frustrated when chatbots don't understand us. And some people even develop emotional attachments to these AI systems. If we're already projecting human qualities onto them, what happens when these systems become even more advanced?
It's a fascinating and somewhat unsettling thought. If society reaches a point where AI is widely perceived as conscious, what implications would that have for our legal systems, our ethical frameworks, and even our own sense of identity?
It's a question that raises a whole host of complex issues. Would AI have rights? Could AI be held accountable for its actions? Would we need to reevaluate our relationships with these systems? It's uncharted territory, and it's something we need to start thinking about now.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around, but it's a conversation we can't afford to ignore. And speaking of conversations we need to have, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the impact of AI on the job market. It's a topic that often generates anxiety and uncertainty.
Yeah, it's understandable that people are concerned. We've all heard the predictions about AI taking over jobs and leaving millions unemployed. But it's important to remember that technological advancements have always disrupted the job market. The key is to adapt and evolve alongside these changes.
So it's not necessarily about AI taking jobs, but rather about AI changing the nature of work and creating new opportunities.
Exactly. The World Economic Forum's report highlights that while AI is likely to displace certain types of jobs, particularly those involving repetitive tasks, it's also expected to create new jobs in areas like AI development, data analysis, and cybersecurity. The challenge is to ensure that people have the skills and training needed to thrive in this evolving job market.
So it's all about adaptability and lifelong learning. We need to be prepared to embrace new skills and continuously update our knowledge base to stay ahead of the curve.
That's a key takeaway. And it's not just about technical skills. As AI takes over more routine tasks, human skills like creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence will become even more valuable.
It's about finding that sweet spot where human ingenuity and AI capabilities complement each other.
Precisely. And that brings us to a fascinating example of how AI and robotics are being used to address a pressing societal need: Japan's aging population and the shortage of caregivers.
We touched on this earlier with the development of the ERAC robot, but it's worth exploring further. This seems like a perfect example of how AI can be used to augment human capabilities and solve real-world problems.
Absolutely. Japan is facing a demographic crisis with a rapidly aging population and a dwindling workforce. There simply aren't enough human caregivers to meet the growing demand. ARAC and other caregiving robots are being developed to fill this gap, providing assistance with tasks like lifting patients, monitoring vital signs, and even providing companionship.
It's a remarkable example of how technology can be used for good, but it also raises important questions about the role of AI in caregiving. Can a robot truly provide the same level of care and emotional support as a human?
That's a valid concern. While AI can certainly assist with physical tasks and provide reminders for medication or appointments, it's unlikely to replace the human touch entirely. There's a level of empathy, compassion, and emotional connection that's essential in caregiving, and that's something that's still difficult for AI to replicate.
It's a reminder that while AI has enormous potential to improve our lives, it's important to consider the ethical and social implications carefully. We need to ensure that technology is used in a way that prioritizes human well-being and doesn't dehumanize those who need care.
It's all about finding the right balance. AI can be a powerful tool for improving the quality of care, but it should be used to augment human caregivers, not replace them entirely.
And speaking of finding the right balance, let's circle back to the ethical considerations surrounding AI in a broader sense. We've touched on some of the potential risks, like job displacement and the blurring of reality and belief. But what about the potential benefits?
AI has the potential to revolutionize countless aspects of our lives, from healthcare and education to transportation and energy. It can help us solve complex problems, make more informed decisions, and even create new forms of art and expression. The challenge is to ensure that these powerful technologies are developed and deployed responsibly.
It's about harnessing the power of AI for good while mitigating the potential risks. It's a responsibility that falls on all of us: researchers, developers, policymakers, and the public at large.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
We need to have open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI, establish clear guidelines for its development and use, and work together to ensure that these technologies are used to benefit humanity as a whole.
It's a conversation that's just beginning, and it's one that will continue to evolve as AI technology advances.
It's an exciting and challenging time to be alive, and it's crucial that we engage in these discussions, ask tough questions, and work together to shape the future of AI in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up part 2 of our deep dive into the world of AI. But stay tuned for part 3, where we'll address some listener questions and offer our concluding thoughts on the future of AI.
Welcome back to AI Daily Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from the latest AI breakthroughs to the ethical and societal implications of this rapidly evolving technology.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey exploring the potential of AI to both solve problems and challenge our understanding of the world.
It really has. And as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. We've talked a lot about the future of AI, but what about the future of us, humans, in an increasingly AI-driven world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? As AI continues to advance at an unprecedented rate, it's crucial for us to think critically about how we want to coexist with these intelligent machines. It's about finding that balance between embracing the potential of AI while also preserving our own values, creativity, and autonomy. I completely agree. We can't simply sit back and let technology dictate the terms of our future. We need to be active participants in shaping that future, ensuring that AI is used to empower us, not diminish us.
And that starts with education, awareness, and open dialogue. We need to be informed about the capabilities and limitations of AI, and we need to have conversations about the ethical implications of its use. It's a collective responsibility that involves everyone, from researchers and developers to policymakers and everyday citizens.
Absolutely. We can't shy away from the complex questions that AI raises. We need to embrace the challenge of navigating this uncharted territory thoughtfully and responsibly.
And as we do so, let's remember that ultimately the future of AI is intertwined with the future of humanity. It's up to us to ensure that this powerful technology is used to create a better world for all.
Well said. That wraps up our AI Daily Deep Dive for today, February 28th, 2025. We've explored the latest AI advancements, delved into the ethical dilemmas they present, and hopefully sparked some thought-provoking conversations along the way.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this AI-powered journey.
Thank you for listening. And remember, as AI continues to evolve, so too must our understanding of its impact on our world and ourselves. Keep those thoughts brewing, and join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating world of artificial intelligence.